preparing to live stream the meetings, setting up YouTube. Maybe I should check it on. All right. I'm just going to make this quiet. We are live on YouTube. So hello everyone. This is totally impromptu live, not advertised anywhere, but we just decided to go live. So I hope you can hear us and see us. If anybody is here, let me just check on my phone because I can't see YouTube here.
And go grab something. Be back.
This is totally impromptu live. Okay. So if anybody is here and you guys can hear us and see us, please confirm for us. That would be lovely. Other than that, please rewatch it because I'm sure it's going to be interesting, especially if you are a fan of nature, plant medicine, music, sound healing, vibrational healing, divination, flowers, plants. I don't know what else. Celestial.
Yeah, celestial, everything. Interested in everything.
Life. So let's just start. I'm going to introduce Ouassima so you guys kind of get a vibe of how we know each other. If you're part of Tarot community for a while now, so probably since 2017, 19, something like these years, you probably have met Ouassima at some point, one way or another, because you have been part of Tarot community for a long time. We've known each other since that time when you also shared, and you still keep sharing videos on your YouTube channel. And I remember always just liking you, and I always enjoyed what you were putting out there on YouTube. And YouTube being the algorithm beast, you kind of disappeared recently from my feed. But somehow, miraculously, one of your videos popped out a couple of weeks ago, and I wrote you because it was so incredible for me. I don't know, I was kind of a bit down, doubting my whatever path, what I'm doing. And you just popped up all this happy about all those roses and flowers and how you're the temple of rose, you have a temple of roses and you're teaching about this. And I'm like, there was like this deep breath and recognition of like, okay, maybe what I feel inside seems a little bit out of there, and but there are other people who also are doing this, and I just wrote you because I thought like we rarely get that recognition from people on YouTube. When you post videos and you're like, oh, you don't get too many views, you never know if people, like some people comment and it's lovely, and I appreciate also everybody to click like when you like it, actually. You don't have to click like when you don't like it, but if you do like it, appreciate us. But yeah, I thought like it's so nice to get that from somebody. So I wrote you how much your video meant to me at the moment when I watched it, even though it wasn't a new video. And I just realized how we never know if your simple smile, something you share, even though you think, I don't think, like 100 people watched it. Maybe I hope somebody, that engaged with you, right? You never know when this is going to make an impact on a person. And I thought like, I have to write it to you because I'm a YouTube creator. I know how it is. It's important to know. So, and then I thought like you share on your YouTube so many amazing like videos and just interesting subjects, not just like deck reviews. You do that too because we love deck reviews. Let's not put deck reviews down. Every time I want to buy a deck, I'm like searching for that deck and I want somebody to make that review. But yeah, you put a lot of interesting stuff and you do a lot of interesting stuff. So maybe Ouassima, to interrupt my monologue, you can maybe introduce yourself to us from like how you, what do you do in the world and how do you see you?
That's very interesting because you see, one of the challenges I had on my YouTube channels is what part of me am I going to share? And put out there, because we are so many things, right? We are, I always say, we are a mother, daughter, sister, we are student, we are teacher, we are uh, crazy, we are wise, we are all of these things at the same time. And I think that's one role we are having at the moment, is to be all of these, be all of these, and create a path that is different. By the same time, we have seen like all these goddesses we read about, all these heroines I read about. I'm just at the moment I'm rereading about Wonder Woman, and how it was created, the character was created, and how it is inspired by the Amazons. And then I'm doing research about Amazons of North Africa, so putting all of that in a research and putting it in a university environment is a whole big challenge. But that's what we do, is kind of like, we are a crossroad. That's what we see us. I'm a crossroad. I gather many knowledge, I gather many paths, and I just share that. I just show that. That's it. I hope it inspires people to be a crossroad themselves. Um,
I just called you an octopus. You called yourself a crossroad. So maybe I just like, if somebody doesn't know what a crossroad in Ouassima's case means, she writes books. She created quite a few oracle decks.
yes.
Did you make a tarot yet or not yet?
No, not yet, but it's on
Not
my
yet.
mind.
So she created oracle decks. She is teaching. She has like academy about, like, what is it called? Temple of Roses, or
I teach at the Temple of Roses. Funny enough, I just started teaching a small group of men as a community service. So yeah, Temple of Roses is for men and women. That's something I learned just recently. So
that's amazing. I think
yes.
this is definitely the way to go. If we
Hmm.
don't want to repeat the yo-yo effect,
Yes.
that this work has to be inclusive. I'm
Hmm.
always happy when I have male clients, and I
Hmm.
do get male clients, and I always see it as like a good mirror back,
Hmm.
that like this is also speaking not just to the women, but also to other, I don't know, called like genders. I don't even want to go there, but
Yes.
to other people.
All
Yeah.
parts, all humans are, and even now we are talking about other than human, or like we work with spirituality, and like we are infused with this concept of spirits, rivers, roses, trees are all spirits. So I feel that's also, I and that's my view. Our interest in tarot, oracles, books, spirituality is an activism, is a form of activism, because we are removing those kind of judgments and separations between. I wouldn't say man doesn't exist or woman. I don't even know. I don't know. I accept that I don't know everything. But there is one thing I know, that we are all living on this planet together, and everyone and every spirit is fulfilling a mission for why it or he or she is created. Um, so yeah. Anyways, we can go to all directions. You see,
But
like the
this is,
octopus. We are starting the octopus effect now.
yeah, I just wanted to add to this that I think it is a part of activism, even from the perspective of staying creative and attuned, and actually working with your intuitive self that doesn't get too much recognition in the world kind of around you,
Hmm.
because jobs like, artistic jobs, anything to do with music, with art, with divination, they kind of like, yeah, and unless you're a famous artist, then of course you're doing something right. But
Hmm.
we all have in our birthright that the biggest part of us is to be creative, that gives us power, that gives us a little bit more of like authentic integrity,
Hmm.
that we don't get so much swayed by all this news around us and we don't know what to believe anymore. We all need to reconnect to this center bit that's
Yes.
connected to kind of up and down and everywhere around, but like it, when it comes through this, and then when this is a little bit more grounded and embodied, then you have like this good filter. You still
Hmm.
don't know everything, we probably know nothing really, but it's so much easier to distinguish, like that feels like truth, that doesn't feel like truth. And you
Hmm.
can, like you have that kind of inner compass that's really important these days, because there's so much misinformation, disinformation, specifically lies that are put on top of everything that's true. So it's very confusing to be
Mm-hmm.
like around it right now and kind of feel like, yeah, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, you know what's true, when everything seems just, changing from day to day. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Very
part of
interesting.
activism for sure.
Yes, which I find this really interesting because you see, through the last years, I feel that the tarot community is a kind of a solid basis. So I'm part of different circles, whether it could be academia, it could be goddess studies, matriarchal studies, shamanic study, all of these circles. And I feel like the tarot community is the solid one because it feels that the we find variety of people's minds and people's thoughts and principles, but at the same time we are gathering around something, which is we want to make the world different, better, and then starts, and then the conversation starts from there. So and there is an aspect to it as well, which is pleasure.
Mm,
Activism should be for me creative and linked to joy. We
yeah,
want to change things, but we can do it with joy, with passion. We don't need to be in the mud all the time until we are sourceless, like we don't even find our fire. So that's one thing. And I started a new theory called Tarot is Serious because every time I meet people, whether in expos or wherever, it's like, oh, you read tarot? I'm like, yes. Can you see my future? And I'm like, that sentence triggers me so much. I'm like, like I see, and my hair started, and I just like transforming into Medusa, like, but so, so I decided to bring the aspect of tarot is serious. Otherwise, the secret societies will not take it to learn and to teach, isn't it? It has
yeah,
so many secrets. And even if you don't follow tarot, cartomancy itself has been proven very, very efficient in therapy, in visualization, in improving our health, and so on. So I think it's really time that we kind of sit in our throne and just say, listen, this is a practice, this is a research, even research area that we could explore and expand. I was just hearing someone, I forgot his full name. I was presenting with him this weekend about mythology, and he creates characters for Marvel. Earl, I think his name, and he was sharing. He plays with tarot. He uses tarot, and he creates Marvel story, like the characters. And he explained that tarot itself is like a caricature. It's like a BD, we call it in French BD, which is like I don't know how you call it in cartoons. They are scenes put all together, and they are showing you a movie, the movie of your life, the movie of your inner life, your outer life. So I think it's time that we kind of like take ourselves seriously and take our practice seriously. That's my
yeah.
message.
And I think, depends where you are. I remember, I go to Thailand often, and in Southeast Asia, like tarot readers are like it's a respected profession.
Hmm.
Astrologers, they work with government people. They're not like just this, like ESO TV, tell me my future type of energy. Like there is place for this as well, because some people just are there and that's all they want. Fine, but I think especially Western world, because we went so much into that scientific side of things. Uh, I think that, yeah, there's just like we either doing the yo-yo, we either totally lack science or totally like overdo science, and then because of money and how things work in the science field as well, a lot of scientists have so many different theories and they can even prove them, but they can't get grants, they can't get money. If they say this, then they, like it's kind of it works in every field like this, really. So
Hmm.
you can't really rely even in the scientific field that, like,
Yeah.
that's why we have so many Egyptologists arguing about the dates, and that Robert Bouval that proved with the Orion, like that theory is so solid in some way because it's just so like reflective, but still he couldn't do it in like the regular
Mm.
scientific matter. He had to like quit it altogether and do his
Yeah.
like go his own way, right? And be
Hmm.
kind of excluded and go like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that's,
interesting.
it's
Yeah.
just like funny how that like sometimes you just have to nearly leave the safety of the known and of the environment
Yes.
that kind of cocooned you somehow to actually get somewhere that's more
Yes.
true.
Yeah, very interesting that you bring this topic. So you, people who love astrology might hate me for what I'm gonna say, but I offered this conference like 2 months ago. I might put it on YouTube, and it was about decolonizing astrology. I'm not an astrologer, and that's for sure. But what I know is that there are many fields that are still on. Like I just had a talk as well about biology and how it was created. Many of these fields have existed for a long time, but then they have been put into a specific box for 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 specific reason, whether it's colonizing the minds, the lands, the bodies, and so on. So, for example, for astrology, why why I would love astrology to go beyond is the Greek myths or the Roman myths and how they're all related to gods that raped, killed, uh,
Yeah. It's like
seduced.
repetition of the same old, like, yeah.
Exactly.
We
And
like
as
we way beyond it now. Like, yeah,
yes,
totally
and we
move
are
on.
exactly. And we keep repeating that again and again and again. And I'm like, is it possible that astrologers like yourself or others bring new kind of even new names? Can we bring new names? Can we rediscover the names that were there before?
Yeah. And that shows up so often in, all these like when you do research on divine feminine or, on like old myths, and these names are gone. You have
Hmm.
to like really go back to remember, and we all have that in our DNA, in our memory. We have that peaceful times when people didn't have war, where, or when like women or people were like just buried without any armor. So
Hmm.
you kind of start thinking, so how did they live? So, like, and later on, after a certain time, like everything was like your emblema was like your horse and your sword and your fucking shield and something. And but before that, we lived differently. It's
Yes.
possible. So I think you're very right about that, because a lot of myths, even when we think of Lilith or any of like the dark feminine, like a lot of them were like re- changed, and over time like they grew new skin, but then they didn't shed totally the old one. Like the old one is like protective. Have I lost you? Is this my internet or yours? You froze. Oh, you're back, I think. No. Hello. Oh, we've lost Wasima, I think, but I hope she is going to pop back. Oh, there she is.
Oh, it cuts every 30 minutes. Don't worry. Just
Ah,
continue.
okay, okay. Yeah. No, I thought like you'll be back. I
Yes,
didn't, I just wasn't sure if it's my internet or yours because
no,
I'm
my
in the
30 minutes, like,
countryside.
and it will be coming if we stay online here in 30 minutes.
All right, so maybe what we could do, like, because you have created some amazing decks about flowers, and as we kind of we didn't plan this, like you guys know how much I love plants, nature. I use divination very often out in nature, walk with cards, talk to places, to trees, to flowers with the cards, because cards to me are my way.
Hmm.
Some people do it psychically. I love the image. I draw the card. I trust it. This is my
Hmm.
answer. Figure it out, Kasia. So, can you show us? Like, I don't know if you have your decks.
I would be really happy to show you. And something came up as well. So it also like this is one of the books we published about the roses, Wisdom of the Mystic Rose. And then, well, before that, I created another oracle deck about roses and flowers and how they came shamanically in sessions I was giving. So I started recording that. But then they
So
continued.
Tell us more. With the backtrack, like how
Backtrack.
did it start? Yeah, like
Yes.
before you
So
went like, oh, book about roses. Like
no,
what
no, no, no.
happened?
Okay, so I need to go before that because in 2016, I think, oh my gosh, 10 years ago, I put in all together messages from the trees. So I was traveling and the trees were coming really a lot with messages about way of living, way of being in the world, how to listen. And I put like all that together, like a coaching book. People could write and fill it. And it went really well. I published it in French. I was living in Quebec at the time. And then now it's translated, you can find it on Amazon. But the roses and the flowers were always part of my life, but having very specific messages. And I didn't know. People think about the flowers as like more emotional, so on, but this is one thing I learned from, especially from the roses. They are very structured. They are very, very structured. Just to think about the geometry, their geometry is very structured. But even the magic lies as well in the initiative path they take us in which like things are spiraling. It's not like learning like a pyramid, like what we learn
Yeah.
in Western schools. It's like you learn this and then you go to another topic and then and with time everything falls into place and you become the flower. You've become the rose. That's really what I learned from the roses. So I'm in it's in that path that I am and I'm continuing. Giving you an example, the two flowers that came up for this week. So I have the Westenia, and this is the art was made with Anastasia. She's also the artist of the Become an Oracle. Let me see if I have
Yeah.
my version
I
around.
haven't realized that I have the Become an Oracle, but the very,
The
very
first
first version,
version,
I didn't have
yeah.
the planets in them. I'm like, oh no, I want,
I
I
don't have
want
the
the
plus in
planets
there.
cards. But yeah, this is the artwork. I maybe show it because it's beautiful art.
Yes, you know what we added to this copy? We added the constellations and the planets, and I'm like,
I know.
oh,
I'm like,
we don't
that's
have that
hello.
one.
I didn't realize that because you said like, maybe you want this. I'm like, I have it. Sorry, I don't need it. And then I watched one of your videos and you're like showing the Saturn card, and I'm thinking, I don't think I have this.
Yes, she's an amazing artist. So we made the Become an Oracle, and we added like this is one of the cards we added is Bridget
Ah,
as well. We added Merlin, we added the constellations and the planets because, okay, so wait, let me jump into that as well as a way. What I'm sharing is our way of connecting, right? So this is a Uranus and Salt is Sirius. All these illustrations, actually, why I love working with her is that we do shamanic journeying, we do cosmic journeying. We went to meet with the stars, we went to meet with the planets to learn their stories, and we brought that to the cards. Um, the same way with the flowers. I tell her, okay, this is the energy I'm seeing, this is what I'm feeling. And she goes in, she draws with her own very, very
super.
authentic way. And now, what I'm doing is gathering again these cards and telling stories or messages that the flowers are bringing. Hopefully, it will be in a book in the future.
Because
So, for
right now
example,
you're doing it on the Substack, just in somebody is
Substack.
interested. I'm going to link that below the discussion when we finished. So
Mhm.
if somebody likes it and want to check it out, they can go and see. And just before you go again,
The flowers,
how
yeah.
do you hear the messages? Like you say you do shamanic journeys and stuff, but do you as a like channel, do you feel, do you hear, do you see everything, a bit of everything? How does it work for
Well,
you?
I want to do it with you now. I feel like as we love the flowers open up, and I might be awkward saying this, but you know, when you are in love and you start opening your petals to that love
Mhm.
one by one, it's the same way. So it's kind of like that love we carry for the flowers. They feel it, they sense it. I feel even that we are flower for some of us. Um, so they open a path, and then maybe in 2 years they will open a little bit more, and then maybe in 10 years they will. So it's as if like And some flowers for me are really, really teaching roses. Like the rose is, is my master teacher, let's say,
Yeah.
jasmine or so on. So there are teacher flowers that we resonate a bit more than others. Anyway, let's do this experiment. Let's see what the flowers are. So I have Wisteria pea family, and the message that came with her was soul. Hopefully, you can see her
Oh,
here.
yes, yes, that's better.
Yeah, here we
Yeah.
go. So, and the message that came was Song of the Soul and Bliss. So, I had this flower kind of next to my house, or one places I was staying, and the word that kept coming was intoxicating,
Mm-hmm.
intoxicating, and the it's as if like I feel that she starts speaking to me. So I will come back to this video to write down what she will say. But there is already this aspect of passion. We are so passionate with what we do. With like we have a passion, but sometimes it can intoxicate us. Intoxicating is not a bad thing always. It's something that takes all the reason so that we can pursue that passion and bring it to its next step. It's even crazy passion. And that's how some people are passionate about making cakes and they create new cakes, or crazy about solar energy and they create new. That's what her message for me is today. Kind of, you are so passionate about some things that you become intoxicated, and that's the bliss. But at the same time, what are the petals that are you are leaving aside? Are you eating? Are you drinking because of that passionate love? Um, are you enjoying life? Are you listening to the car that might pass while you are just watching me? So there is something about kind of um, and when you see her, she's showing me how she goes everywhere, like all sides. She's showing me the importance. Yes, it's good to be all over, but I have always a perimeter. I can go everywhere, but I still have a perimeter. So it is about the body, the bodily containment of passion. How our body materiality contains that passion. So that's one of the messages she's bringing. And another flower that came as well was so let me show it. It was the yellow rose.
Is this that you pulled for our chat or this for
It's
today?
for
These two
this week. It's
flowers?
for this
Ah, for
week.
this week. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
I pick for every week like some,
Yeah.
and these are the two that came. So I have the yellow rose.
Yes.
I love this rose. She's, like a, uh, she's radiant. She's divine. So let's see what's coming. Yeah, um, like I'm hearing her. So and if you get messages, Kasia, as we are doing this, you are participating in the circle. So please do not hesitate when.
I
But
add.
there is something about I'm hearing sound. I'm hearing music. Um, I'm hearing even a dance, dancing together. Um, I'm feeling even voicing. Okay, yeah. So I see. So she's this one was about passion, body, and this one is about singing the passion, singing the love, the joy of it, the expression of it. Oh yeah, I understand. Okay. Oh wow, you see, and then I get chilled when it's like opening the door. So it gets like, oh my, I understand. I see. So, uh, um, when you get that like messages that speak to the soul, like you feel like just um so both what they are talking about is the passion, basically, the the passion lived alone versus lived with others. um so what we do, Kasia, you and me, is living our passion with others, but we are so creative that sometimes the platforms that we have are so little and so even limiting for our passion. um like if we can, I'm sure we can publish videos every single day. We can even sing every single morning, even our
I'm
single
throwing so
canto.
much stuff on Patreon. I'm thinking, my God, people will hate me. They will leave just because I put so much stuff on. Like, I want to
Exactly.
post every day because I'm so fucking, oh, this is exciting. I want to share this.
Exactly. And that's the intoxicating passion. I feel that these two flowers are asking us to think about how can we channel our passion through in a constructive community way. And I'm seeing singing together as a way. So is that like a community event that could be put together uh, regularly so that there is passion channeled uh, together. So it's really together that is coming. It's not just I don't need to stay alone with my passion until it intoxicates me and I explode with it. It is about fluidity, containment, containing fluidity with others. So that's very short kind of like inspiration that came.
You know, when I looked at wisteria, I remember living in Australia and they had these humongous trees of wisteria. I mean, I'm not sure if it was wisteria like how we know it in Europe, because here it's a bit more kind of lower and like it
Yes,
spreads,
it's
right?
spread.
And
Yes,
hangs. And there they had like these huge trees, but the flowers were very similar. And at certain time, springtime, they were like all purple and just, I was
Mhm.
always on the bus to work and I didn't want to go to work. I was, of course, like, "Oh, I don't want to go. Even though I worked, like my work was pretty good, but still, even when it's good, you sometimes don't want to go there. And I remember passing those trees and seeing them from the bus. And every time I did, it was like this, like it's going to be okay. And this beauty, maybe that's like this intoxication and some, but like also that like ephemeral quality.
Mhm.
But it was greeting me and like really giving me this like, just chill. It will be okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Mhm.
It's all good. It's okay.
Mhm.
And like the beauty of it was like the healing part, and it
Mhm.
was so gentle. And you know they have lots of these little tiny petals. They
Mhm.
like, yeah, they're like so ephemeral and gentle, but like there's so many of them, so there's this big like beauty in number even, but like they sway so gently and they dance in the wind, and you know like they like really gorgeous like that. So this image was really, I felt like that's
Mm.
how I felt about wisteria, you know. It was just this
Yes.
kind of very gentle one. But yeah, there is definitely something about, I love looking at and communicating with plants and sharing about them, like really through my experience, if I had experience with the plant, because I feel like if I had this experience, probably somebody else experienced it in a similar way. Not all of us, but like, you know, that there is this like direct experiential part to it.
Yes.
And some flowers you obviously don't
Mhm.
get that because I've never seen them in like in real life. But then we can connect through all these different channels, which is also amazing, because I totally believe in this like spirit communication and actually getting access to the plant spirit
Mhm.
through your meditation, shamanic journey, any other, you know, cards, any other
Yes.
ways when you can just be
Yes.
present and ask for
Yes. And
connection.
this is really interesting. I learned from the elders as well. Like, I did many courses and weekends with plant communication from elders, whether in Montreal or elsewhere, because it's not a yes. I have the way kind of. It's communication is open, but what they taught me is dedication. These
Yeah.
teachers, because most of the teachers I am with are old, so I kind of try to benefit from their wisdom the most possible. So they are very dedicated, and they showed me that their work doesn't depend about validation, external validation, but depends about their connection to the plant and their love for what they do. Another thing that they taught me is the interconnection, and that we talk in academia about the intersectionality, like interconnection between plants, body, plants, writing, let's say, or like we can gather these things together, like the flowers and the plants. They live all together. You know, it's very recent in humanity history. It's 10,000 BC that we got this idea of agriculture,
Yeah.
organized,
Mhm.
controlling. Before it was not like that. And we can see it still in the wild places. Plants decide where to go, where to grow, how to
Yeah.
collaborate, how to commune. When it is time to, okay, it's done from this place, then we see them appear in another place by magic. um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so living in community it's very, very interesting to learn from, I
I
feel.
also loved what you said about the spiral, like disclosure, because that also reminds me of astrology. You know, you go through your Saturn return at 29,
Mm.
you go through Saturn return at 54. You know, like how do you get to do the same transit, but like you 29 years older from the first one, right? So, you know, do you
Ah,
you keep watching yourself evolving,
yes,
but it's in this like in this fractal kind of way. And
yes,
the shorter cycles happen every 2 years, like Venus cycle every year, Mars
yeah.
cycle every 2 years, you know, when it gets to the same point and you get to see it if you want to, if you observe
Hmm.
this. But it's
Yeah.
interesting with the rose petals because Venus has the like most amazing cycle out of all the planets. She's
Hmm.
like perfect. Her cycle is perfect.
Hmm.
It's perfect. It's this five petaled rose, the pentagram in the sky. Within these 8 years, you know, how she does these five conjunctions. And it's amazing. It's just
Hmm.
amazing. And she's not elliptical. She's like like proper rose. And she opens one.
Yes,
And I think rose opens exactly the same as a flower. She doesn't
yes.
open like this. She
No,
just
especially
opens
with
one
the
petal.
sepals.
It's
Yes,
like
exactly. This is very interesting what you're bringing forward because you see, if I talk, we started our conversation by bringing community, flowers, tarot, and everything. And it's I've I there is maybe something about bringing us all together by passion, um, but in a more structured way. Um, but then the question arises, motivation. Who is motivated for 1 year, for 10 years, for 20 years? Is the motivation coming from a need of gratification, validation, or is it coming from a desire to be of service or from desire to discover? That's the intention. Like, where does our intention comes from? Um, but I really think that one of the answers to bring our practice forward is to gather, like what we are doing today, just sharing. You know,
yeah.
it's not about selling. People will, if they want to discover, they will go click the link below wherever there is
Definitely.
support, wherever there is. But the ultimate goal is really to be of service to something bigger than that. This self.
And
Uh,
also, I feel like, you know, if you keep doing it for how many years have you been now following the flowers and this nature path? Like definitely over
yeah.
a decade, right? I've been following astrology since 2004,
Mm-hmm.
5. So that's like over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this gives me an overview different to somebody who must like loves astrology as well, but just started 2 years ago. Just because I say like they not like worse astrologer than me, they might be better astrologer than me, but I do get that 20 years experiential observation of
Yeah.
how these cycles work
Yes.
through me and through the clients that I worked with and through feedback that I get from people, you know, like that you keep adjusting your own knowledge, that it's not just from the book, but it's actually a lived experience. And
Yeah.
I feel like if I didn't get bored with it and you didn't get bored with, you know, with what you do, that's like a proof of proof of weapon. Let's forget this wording. No, no, no. Phew.
Yes.
Sorry. But that's like a proof of this devotion that you have to the
Exactly.
subject
Yes.
that keeps feeding you, because otherwise you wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
Like, why would you do
Yes.
it? Or I, yeah,
Yes, divine inspiration. That's always what I say, and I think it's not to make us look old, but I think we are becoming the elders of these communities where we are. I really believe
definitely.
so,
I hit
and
50. I think I can be an elder now, slowly.
but at the same time, it shows as well how our elders are treated in the Western world. So, just to give an example, I was born in North Africa, and the elders there are treated differently.
Mm,
And male elders versus women elders are treated differently. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I want to come back. One of my researches in the last years has been indigenous methodologies, um, and how we know what we know, how our elders are participating in the construction of what will be. Um, do we take it seriously? Do we take into account our own stories from the lands where we were born? Are we taking into account our dreams, our intuitions, our tarot readings? All of these things, all the different ways of knowing, and the time, because now internet, like people are writing with all these artificial intelligence. They are even creating cards, and which I am not into at all.
Yeah.
uh, we can use artificial intelligence for, maybe I use it for correcting some
Yeah,
words and
rechecking.
things like that.
Yeah.
But in this time where knowledge of information is the the kingdom, or that's the ultimate knowledge, we are heading to the end of us, of us as a species, I believe. So we need to rethink what is knowledge. And that knowledge is not about information.
Yeah.
It is about the formation, how we came to be through time, through our ancestors, and so on.
And how we use it also, right? This one saying I always loved it. Knowledge. No, that yeah, knowledge is that you know that tomato is a fruit, but wisdom is that you don't put it into a fruit salad because you fucking know it's not this type of fruit that you
That's funny.
experiential, right? You have the wisdom of how to use the fruit, but scientifically you'd be like, this is a fruit, and apple
Yeah.
is a fruit, and tomato is a fruit. But well,
Yes. Yes.
fruit
And
salad? No.
yes, and maybe this would be one of my points before internet cuts again in 5 minutes. It's, um, our relationship, our if we remove time, when we connect to thought as the master of time, he shows us that time actually is a construct, a human construct as well. But what is really true in that is our relationship, is your relationship to astrology, is my relationship to, let's say, history or flowers or tree, is the relationship, and it's our devotion to it that constructs something solid. And that's what I'm trying to do with the roses, with my practice, with my dreams. And sometimes I fail, sometimes I do it well, sometimes, but I keep doing it. I don't stop.
And could you give us an example, like if you feel like sharing this, I don't know, but like of one of the times when you thought like, did Rose just spoke to me? Like that you got like a kind of really like you recognize that this is a communication with the plant. Like how did it happen to you during the shamanic journey? Or
Oh, I can tell you about one of the times I did it with a group. So I gathered a group of ladies, and we decided to connect in shamanic way with the roses. And it was a program, all like, we're gonna study this. And then we do this first journey. We were about 15, if I remember well. And we go all on a journey. It was silence journey, meditative journey. I didn't even play with the drum. And every one of these ladies came back with this kind of feeling that there was a temple. There was a temple of roses. And I've never heard about temple of roses before that. And I'm like, what is this? That was a big revelation, because there was a temple. What is a temple? And that took me into a whole new experience,
direction.
direction about the temple, the roses as a teacher, not the rosary, not Mary Magdalene, being following the rose as the teacher. And she is the one giving all the lineages, including the Mary Magdalene and so on. That was a big revelation, and also a
Wow.
big revelation to bring that concept uh, without entering into any box, because a temple was open, walls, but still open. Uh, so that openness of the impermanence. Knowledge is not permanent; it evolves all the time. That's one of the biggest. But yeah, it's kind of like even with tarot. Just recently, I asked tarot about all type of things. Like
Yeah,
even
same.
where to yeah, where to go next, what to do about this, what to do about that, and it's like a mirror.
Yeah, I call tarot a mirror. That's my favorite word for tarot.
Yes,
But you
but
know, with the because I had these experiences like years ago with crystals, before I started creating crystal wands. Do you remember? I still used to make these wands of
yes,
transformation. I don't make them anymore because suddenly the channel just like closed off.
those,
That's it. Like I
yeah,
nope. I
it's
mean, I could
done.
probably force it and just make one because I know how to make them, but the way I made them was totally like
Yes.
flowing. Like they made kind of through me, then they made themselves through me. That was like this the type of experience. But I remember the first time when I was still living in Australia, getting some crystals, and I thought like, oh, I'm just going to communicate with them, and like just I, just sat in
Mhm.
meditation with first one. I remember about three. First one, then another one, and then another one, and the sense of communication that I got was like so strong. Like I wrote it all down. And what I like about like what your story with the roses and like my story, how I experienced is that in some way, one way or another, right after, or as you said, sometimes a year later, you somehow get a confirmation that it's not just a figment of your imagination, that this somehow reflects in reality, and it gives you some sense of like, okay, like I trust it, like I
Mhm. Mhm.
thanks, because otherwise, you constantly like, am I just imagining it? I often get people, if you have
Yes.
any groups, like often you get people, and even I'm doing the shamanic journeys with Belinda Gore of the ancient ritual postures,
Mhm.
and we sit in the postures, of those old ancient sculptures, and she always leads, like she's an amazing teacher. So I often see, like, in the beginning we were all like, oh, but I don't know if I imagine this, but and she's like, no, just don't even say that. That doesn't matter. Like you imagine it all, but but it's just a part of opening something bigger and connecting you to something bigger.
Mhm.
And it's interesting how often in a group setting, when you were kind of we coming back to that community, you do get like often confirmation of your messages, because people you don't know or who had like their own journeys without being in different on different continents at the same time, like have not the same journeys but like elements or themes that keep repeating. And I thought like that's always
Mhm.
builds your own muscle of
Yes.
trust, that
Yes.
you keep trusting what you're receiving.
Yes, and that's very interesting because the difference in a circle than when a teacher teaches, that's the difference. So I was part of a group many years ago where we were channeling for each others. So I was not just the one channeling for others, but other people were channeling for me, and it was really interesting because it amplifies the energy, and it also like makes us all learn at the same time, whatever our level is, advanced, beginner. It doesn't matter. We are all in there together, and I think that's coming back to the indigenous way.
Mm.
Um, that's the time the internet cuts.
Yeah, you froze. I wait. Yeah, we still hear you, Wasima. We just don't see you. Wasima is in Ireland and her internet cuts every half an hour, so forgive us for this. We just wait when she comes back. She'll be back in a
Yes,
bit. Oh, there she
I'm
is.
back. Yes.
Woohoo!
So I was talking about the indigenous way and the circular learning instead of the pyramidal learning,
Yeah.
and where I think that's the way to go for the future. It's no more kind of we see all of these people like key people out there, like teaching things. I think it's valued for now, as but I really feel that all our experiences are valid and all our knowledge helps to construct a bigger knowledge altogether. And that's why I love this message of the yellow rose, which is bringing. And I'll tell you one story. Maybe then, it was like I don't know how, maybe a month. I don't remember, but I had to give two conferences one day after another. The first day I came in, people were waiting for me to teach, and I was standing. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not really feeling okay with this structure. I will be changing it tomorrow. So the day after, I went in and I changed the whole structure of the chairs. I put them all circular, and people kept coming, and we didn't have enough chairs, so they were sitting on the floor, some on the tables, and things like that. And then I started my guide was about the archetypes, masculine and feminine. What do we learn from them at that day, and what is their messages for us? And I didn't expose anything. I didn't have to teach anything. I just started asking questions, and people started participating, and we all learned together. And it was, people didn't want to go out, you know, because we were discussing, we were
Yeah.
bringing a discussion. And I feel that's what is really missing in our communities, in the internet. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's sometimes, it's so engraved in us as well. I'm so cool, like happy that you shared this, because I even catch myself of like I want that communal, like, and I always am like, creating those spaces where we can share. But I also have in this like, oh, maybe they expect me to teach
Mhm.
something,
Mhm.
that there is this like, shall I prepare something as like, they paid, so there should be some reward that's coming. And like, yeah, I catch myself often on this going like, well, that's also, I'm not, particularly fond of that type of, and I have to retrain myself to
Mhm.
like just open the space more, and like whatever. I have to say something about, I used to live in Australia, so the knowledge of Aboriginal people there, and first Australians, because they have so many of what you are talking about, like so many of those themes in their culture. I remember somebody told me once this story that they went for like a workshop with an Aboriginal woman, and she was just sitting there. The women were just sitting in the tent and waiting for men to come back from the hunt or something. Um, so all these Westerners are like, not sitting and waiting, but like it's a workshop. Like, what are we like? When is it going to start, basically? And the Aboriginal women are just like, they have totally different take on
Mhm.
time, different
Yeah.
take on what's important, different take. Like they don't think like us,
Yes. Totally.
and kudos to them. It's very difficult to live like them right now in this particular setup, but I'm pretty sure we're going to slowly maybe go back to the way they live. But they're waiting, they're sitting in the tent, nobody's like, Aboriginal women don't say anything, like they just, we're
Hmm.
waiting.
Hmm.
I think it happened like lasted for 2 hours or something, just waiting. And then they got up and said like, okay, much work has been done, see you tomorrow. And then was this, and all these like, Western women were like, what the fuck? But slowly that's like sips into you.
Oh yeah.
Much work has fucking been done.
Yes.
Like,
Totally.
much work has been done, because for
Yeah.
us this is like the biggest kind of, like, the expectations we bring in, the kind of like what we should be receiving back, like how
Hmm.
much whatever, we have all this, like we don't even realize how much
Yes.
baggage we bring into the tent.
Yes.
And on the other hand, like also with many cultures, how they never used to write down things because it
Hmm.
was fully oral culture, like Slavic culture. We don't have so many, written texts or anything.
Hmm.
Paintings, they were drawing them, like all this kind of Aboriginal art. That's new. That's like 1970s or something.
Hmm.
But before that, they used to do it, but like very much on, bark.
Hmm.
Nobody was hanging it anywhere. Nobody
Hmm.
was giving it to any type of museums. They were drawing
Hmm.
on the sand and then gone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what you were talking about this ephemeral kind of quality of, um,
I
like art,
love it.
like a life is changing, like nothing stays. It's like the mandalas that
Yes.
monks do, right?
Yes. Yes. Very interesting. I have so much there to say, but I talking about the synchronicities, the messages that we receive, being open all the time. One of the decks that we printed with my friend Steph is I Don't Care. And we had like the first version, and then we had the second version, and then I just have like the last version. I printed some for my ladies, and we did the manifesto. Let me show you the manifesto.
Okay, and then maybe you can pull 3 cards for us. What
Yes,
shouldn't
I
we
pulled
care about?
already two. I can pick another one, but so for our activist, like let me see if I can share with you this.
A bit closer or a bit further, I'm not sure. Oh,
So,
like this, but like put it up now.
yeah, here we go.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Perfect.
yeah. So anyway, that's a manifesto. I don't care manifesto. And one of the things is like, and if we did it for 2019, anyway, people who want to have it, I can send it to them if they want. But one of the things I found myself coming back to is what are the rules that are in my mind that I need to break down, and where do I want to bring. So I want to share that with you. To maybe close our meeting today. But I don't care about the rules written to keep us small. I don't care about opinions spread to make us feel like objects and robots. I don't care about fitting in. What I care about is breaking the norms, the colonial mentality, the internalized capitalist mindset. This is very interesting because one of the cards that came was this one.
Ab-
Uh,
Abuse of power.
yes.
Oh, all our decks are there swirling around us. We want them all.
And everything has a price.
Yep.
As I talk at the moment, the price of the food is just rocking. Just
Yes.
people sending me some messages about it.
My
Uh,
husband just stuck in Thailand. He couldn't fly back because he had flight through Qatar. So quite stressful for him as well, and just got rebooked to fly through Istanbul through
yeah.
Turkey.
Yes.
Yeah, in a week,
So
not now, like when he was
yeah.
supposed to be coming. Yeah.
So I think that's the idea of this manifesto about like what do I care about, what I don't care about. I think that's the line that we should do for ourselves. We cannot handle everything. We cannot be of support to everyone. We came, I believe that as a soul, we came with specific mandates, and we don't need to feel blame or shame about that. Another aspect that came to me is um, the economy, our economical structure. And just for this deck, what I did, the deck told me, and on a video, and I posted it, maybe I should put two prices for those who can and those who can more. There's some aspect of our economical structure, and I started these last years to remove the money aspect from my service. It doesn't mean I'm not paid for what I do. It just means that I get independent in my mind from what I do. I'm not expecting that my research or spiritual work will bring me the money. Uh,
Mm.
there is big freedom in thinking that way. Um,
Yeah.
Big freedom. And also another aspect, very deep thought about materiality, matter, mother. How did we connect from the materiality, from the mother, the source of all, and how can we reconnect to that?
Yeah,
Um,
how it got twisted also
mhm,
in just very narrow
mhm. Yes,
limits and
yeah,
boundaries. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
So
materialistic, you think matter, you materialistic. And it's
yeah,
kind of like like pejorative or, like
yes,
negative association
yes,
straight away.
yes. There is one lady. She wrote a book about the one who spills. I think that would be a very interesting book for you. By the way, I will try to find it for you. But spills the coin, something like. Oh, I have it here. Here we go.
Of
Reading,
course.
rereading.
She who spins the coils of creation. Oh,
I
didn't
mean,
hear about this.
just get the book. Just get the book.
Okay.
But anyway, to see if it speaks to you. But she was sharing about the word matrix, and when we say getting out of the matrix, what do we really mean? Is to get away from the mother, the mother. So why matrix became negative? From the movies and so on. We have to rethink things. That's what I say. And I'm doing that for myself and sharing that with my community. Hopefully, we should be sharing more about it in the future in my next books. So, two cards, two more
Yes,
cards from
please.
the
Two
I Don't
cards for the
Care.
community and for whoever watches later, messages from
Oh,
us for communal
community,
messages.
for the community. Um,
Stand up for yourself. Oh.
yeah. Even if you feel too small.
You know what I noticed like on that that like the cancel culture has created very deep riff, I think, in how we express ourselves. We lack diversity in expression. We're so scared that whatever we say will be fucking misunderstood. I shouldn't swear because that's probably going to like really limit the views. But you know, whatever we say will hurt somebody. People are very privileged to get very upset with everybody about everything these days. Like, I grew through communism. I swear, I grew through propaganda language where you couldn't say what you think, when everyone had to be really careful in front of your neighbors and people who could get you to secret police for saying something that you didn't even mean.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. We fought for freedom of speech. Don't be so sensitive to your like own impression of your own limits. Like, I can't. I'm getting really kind of wound up about this. And I
Yeah.
also noticed a difference between Europe and America.
Mhm.
um I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I noticed the difference. I'm in Europe, in Canada and North Africa at the same time. And I noticed the difference. In North Africa, they are quite aware about, all of these things. They went through colonialism, they suffered from terrorism. People are, I feel like, are more aware of the political games
Yeah.
than the European and Canadian aspect. But at the same time, I love this. I don't understand yet. I'm a genius, kind of. I mean,
It's
I'm
like,
a genius in
let's
my
back
field,
us up. Totally, because we all have opinions, the strong opinions, but then we still don't understand
We
most of
don't
them.
understand. So I will focus on what I understand and what is calling my attention and what is intoxicating me as a passion. I will end with this card. That's funny today. I tell you this, I don't care. It's just amazing. Imagine.
Imagine. Oh, that's cool.
Like,
I
just
love that.
imagine. Imagine what you want. Imagine, not for the word, imagine what you want for you. And not in terms of, I really love this thing. It's not about possession or where I will be, or it's kind of a state of being. What is your soul imagining? And versus what your mind is imagining is really different. And that's why tarot and oracle comes back. What am I imagining as a soul? That would be a good question to ask.
Yeah, and also I feel like very often how we as humanity structured our lives, people don't get time to even
Mm-hmm.
have coffee in peace or whatever, like just have 5 minutes to even think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I again back think of like Australian first people and like work for someone for 8 hours a day, no, we don't, no. Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of like unbelievable to the way they want to live and lived,
Yes.
that you kind of go, okay, but you guys get all this money pumped. Like, they do not care for that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a totally different way of seeing time, treating time, making just, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
pleasure is important, being close to the land is important, finding food is important, but like working for like paper bills to give them away in some other like, it's just like, yeah, when you kind of think about it, it's ridiculous.
It's insane. It's insane. It's not natural.
No.
And one of the messages I got recently, in the circle I did for the archetype about man, specifically, and the myths of man. The message that came was about time, and what are you of service to? Um, that we are dangerous by
Yeah.
bringing this. We are dangerous, and I understand why the algorithm is not working for us.
No, it's
Because
probably not also because of the swear words. Might be some different reasons behind it. It's a rebellion talk.
rebellion, it's rebellion talk. We are dangerous for the minds and the heart,
Yes.
and I think we have to be ready to lose, because
Yeah.
when I think when we are entering into this aspect of money and so on, we have to be ready to lose
Yeah.
even our lives. And that's the strength. I think it's when we are ready to lose even our lives for our values. That's where the flame gets even higher. That's why I learned from the Amazons of North Africa is that they never die, they are eternal because their passion, their values carried them through whatever time you can imagine.
That's interesting. That's very kind of powerful too. I didn't even kind of go that far with thinking about it, I think. But what I noticed through my own life, you know how often I call my friends and it's like the most beautiful day, the sun is shining, there's blue sky, and I'm like, oh, let's go for a walk, let's go for a catch, like coffee, I can come to the city, let's do something. Nobody has time
Mm-hmm.
to meet during the most beautiful hours of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is either at work or going to work or coming back from somewhere or busy with something, doing something. I'm like, wow. So I just walk with my dog in the
Mm-hmm.
country and thinking I might be like poor monetarily, but I'm a millionaire when it comes to how time sees me and how I see time and how much there is like life
Mm-hmm.
around me
Mm-hmm.
in the most unbelievable way that I can't even explain to my mom, who thinks, how can you live in this country with no shop, nothing? Like it's just five people and you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's unbelievable for her because she is from the country and all her life she wanted to get out of the country and live in the city. She can't even imagine what kind of pleasure I get from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't even imagine how I can explain to you that living in the city right now, for me, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like when I compared to, because I lived in the city for most of my life, right? Like, I just would not change that for
Yeah.
any comforts city
Mm-hmm.
would offer me because I
Yeah.
don't use city anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to cafes. I don't go to cultural events most often. I just don't do that much anymore. It's fun to go a couple of hours, but that's how much I shifted into. And now I'm in the country for living for 3 years. And I even notice how my energy shifts, how I was so jumpy in the beginning in nature. Oh, it's a fly. Oh, it's a. Even though I loved nature, I always went into nature, but like living so close to the earth, it like used to, I'm like, oh, can I sit here? Now
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's a tick, it's a something, you just
Yeah.
kind of like part of it all and just
Yeah.
pray not to get Lyme disease.
Oh
I know
yeah.
that you wrote a book on that as well. So
Yeah.
if anybody needs that, then just so people know,
Mm-hmm.
octopus, she doesn't just write about flowers.
That's how we survive. So yeah, but thank you for bringing that. Do you see we are creating new paths and different paths? So I think we should keep doing it.
So, I thought like I wanted to ask you also like what do you think on like energy work and um how would you use tarot or oracle decks in this capacity, like let's say like for me tarot and oracle decks are kind of like my intuition, like I use them as a tool of translation, like they kind of give me something that maybe my mind wouldn't create, like an image or something, like I use cards for that, and I
Mhm,
learned to trust that over years, that now I'm like I will never change a card, I won't be pulling another one, I will be sitting with this one even if
mhm.
I don't understand what you're telling me. Like, I kind of like force myself to see it and sit and live it and come back to it. And usually something opens up. But how do you do it?
There are different ways, but one of the stories that is coming happened about a month ago. My brother called me and he said, "Auntie, one of my aunties got really sick and she went to the hospital."
Mm,
Um, so I was so moved because I consider her as one of my mothers. And I came to my place and I put the cards out. So what's one of the decks you have, by the way? Let me bring it. See if I'm sure you recognize it. So it was this one. I forgot the name basically.
oh, yeah, the buff, the hard buff. Wait.
Anyway, something like that. I don't remember.
I have it here.
I
I
have a
have it
bad
here.
memory
Uh,
about that.
the
But
hard buff oracle
here
card.
we go. Yes.
Yeah.
So I had that deck at
I love
hand.
that deck.
And I picked some cards for her, and then I went on a journey. And I don't remember all the cards, but one of the cards was like about leaving. So I knew that she's leaving, she's going, and I had my journey confirmed that. I finished the ceremony, and then my brother calls again, and he's like, she just passed away. So I feel that even if we don't understand, the cards act like key, whether they activate or they show or they mirror something. And the more, I think, even if we have feathers, if we place them with intention at specific place, or I think for healers, they know that, when you do something with intention inhabited, it's the same thing with the cards. They showed me how to be placed over the body or over a specific place, or to activate something, to call in for something. But the key thing in all of this is really the intention and being open. Um, and that's is I don't call it magical work. It's really being in tune with all that is. Because this comes from paper, and what is paper and what is me? We all come from the same source at some point.
Yeah,
I
and also the art, now there's a lot of AI, but like before and still now, there's artists, how much energy goes into creating
Yes.
a piece of art that then you get access to as well. I think
Yes.
that's why it's important. And to be honest, just a digression about AI, I really think that artists will get acknowledged more and more so than they even were. Because
Mm-hmm.
at some point now we kind of have this big swing into like, oh, it's new, it's, kind of quick, fast, whoa. But wait, mark my words, this is my divinatory self tuning into my future self, is just saying artists will get their dues back very soon, and even more than back. It will be amazing to be an artist. It will be desired to be an artist. Everybody will at some point like devotionally look, oh my god, this was made by a human. This is going to be like, so we have to
Wow.
protect this, we have to make this like, just no, okay, this thing happens on the side, fine, AI can take over, not me, not my art, not, this is really
Yes.
important. And I think
Yes.
people will learn to give it the right value when it
Mm-hmm.
starts being less and less of it, or when they start going, this is all boring, like it's all the
Mm-hmm.
same
Yeah.
repetitive thing. So
That's
we
very
humans, we're so
interesting.
diverse, we should just like celebrate that diversity.
Yes, and you make me think as well about the Ouassima tarot deck. You make me think about the Oyam oracle deck that I just received as well. The
Which one
art
is
in
it?
it.
What's the oracle deck? Oh yeah, oh
Did
yeah.
I show it? I
Orasoma
think
I know, but
no, this one I received it recently. It's an amazing deck. Art. And it speaks to the those who love flowers,
oh, your
and
internet,
it had
you
astrology as
froze.
well in
You
it.
froze again.
So let me show you some of the cards. Oh, look at this.
I think Wasima will come back. Her internet drops, or maybe it's my internet this time. I'm not sure. But yeah. Oh, she's back. Okay, you
Ah, I'm
froze.
back. I'm okay. Yeah, I froze.
Oh, that's
Here we
interesting.
go. Some of the illustrations. I love this work. So yeah, the art. Yeah, you are bringing something really interesting. The intention of the artist in there as well.
You froze
Um,
again. I show a couple of cards also from this deck that I love so much now. It's an essential oil deck. It's by Tiffany Carroll. I'm studying with her. And I love the artwork. It's 36 cards and it's just essential oils, but she also gave the oils like amazing names. And I really love it. Like cedarwood, she called the steady scaffolding of the internal city.
here we go.
Yeah. Junior, I'm just showing a deck that I'm like really like
Oh.
loving right now. So these are like essential oil oracle deck. It's called the Oracle Essential Oils as Allies for Metamorphosis. And
Mhm.
this is by Tiffany Carroll, and I love the names she gave the oils. She had like she channels, she works on very energetic level with the oils. So juniper berry she called detoxifier, the laurel she calls the victorious one, and the discerning seer, because it was used by Delphic oracles. And chamomile is the nourishing protector and the luminous provider. So cute. I love it. And I love that there's no humans on the cards, that this is just all just kind of how the plant shares the energy. And I love the artwork. It's pretty cool. So this is recently my, yeah, I'm like totally into essential oils and working on many different senses, like the same one thing, but seen from different sensual experiences. So you have the sight, the sound, the smell, the
Yes.
touch. I really love that. And because I think we, as diviners, I want us to embody the reading, not just like, I mean, I appreciate the just pulling the cards and looking at them. That's awesome. I do it all the time. But when you have like, you know, when you pull cards and you have like a question, and this is a serious conversation then for you, like you really want, and like you want a conversation, you want answer, you want to find some insights, then like embodying this reading, you
Yes.
don't just leave it hanging.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Move on, like do something that's actually being transmitted, because that's how you build also the relationship with your tools, that they actually speak to you, because they, like, there's this reciprocity in, I share it with you, but like you never do it, then fuck off. Like I'm not going to even
Yes.
bother
Yes.
anymore.
Yes, that's really amazing. I will need to leave soon, but I want to give you one of the authors I really love. Her name is Elizabeth Ashley, and I visited her house. She works with, like I even I'm trying to translate her book about the Melissa from English to French at the moment,
Yeah.
doing it like really drops by drops. But what I noticed from her is that embodiment of the flowers and the essential oils. She has a garden, and it's like when she talks about plants as well, like from living experience, and even she cultivates them, they are her friends. And she has a honey, like she has a honey, she has honeybees, or like even like ruche in I don't have the houses of bees in English. It's not coming to my mind, but she has them in her garden, you know. So
You're
she
like
built
being,
all, yes, honeycombs. She has honeycombs in her garden. So yeah, she's an amazing person, and I hopefully all of these women like you, like all these teachers that I'm learning from, I feel like we are getting really key things for ourselves, how to go through the next years, whatever is going to happen. What is it that we can keep within us that is really dear to us? How can we embody our spirituality? Really
yeah.
love that aspect you
And
brought
how
as
can
well.
we, while we can, because I feel also what you mentioned, that people sometimes feel guilty for feeling pleasure when there's so much happening everywhere around there, when there's so much suffering. But do not worry, that might come to you. You, while you, that's my opinion, while you are, because I went through different already, I went through system changes, I went through what the world is going through right now, when communism fell, let's say, right? Like I was big enough, I was like 14 or something, so I wasn't an adult, but still I experienced this whole history. Books changed, narrations changed, systems change, democracy came, like nothing was private, everything is private. So we like I went through this, and I think like when I can now, my responsibility, my job is to be oasis of peace. But it doesn't just come
Oh,
from me wanting it. Like I've got to find it within. Like
yeah.
I can't just like speak about it. That's why it's always an inside job, inside out. Because if you not oasis of peace, nobody will feel peaceful around you. Like you can't just be like, I'm writing about peace and I'm like peace, but like
Yeah.
somebody stands next to you and you're like, and I experienced something like I just mentioned just briefly, because like how I know this, I don't like think it, because when I was in London in 2001, I experienced something that I call like a spiritual awakening. And I had people in London, you've been to London, you know how it is, how busy it is, standing next to me at the bus stops. And it happens 3 times. So not a lot, but hello, it happens 3 times. And 3 times somebody said, "Oh, can I just stand next to you? You have such nice energy." And I'm like, I was just surprised, you know, just like a girl from Poland, like learning English, you know, but it was just really interesting experience because I did have nice and nice in a sense, like I was just present. I wasn't expecting things. I wasn't rushing into the future. I wasn't thinking about the past. I was having a month of like never experienced this before and never again. Bummer. Come back, spiritual awakening. Be present all the time. No, it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Often it's just like a, yeah, it's a spiral. But like once you had experience of it, you
Yeah.
remember this
Yes.
quality and you know how that is. And you know that you didn't have to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't earned. It wasn't like I haven't finished 7 courses. I didn't get diplomas. It was grace. It just, I mean, my job was like I want to meditate and I want to see what's like I'm interested. I'm open.
Yeah.
Like what's there? Like I'm unhappy in this world how it is. Show me, is there anything else? That was just openness to it, but
Yes.
I didn't do anything. I wasn't a perfect meditator, I didn't do anything.
Yes, I love it. No shame, no blame. And it's really interesting. What is coming to my mind, just briefly, I feel like we could talk for the whole day. Um, like this oasis will stay with me because I was having another circle about oasis, and, which was really interesting in North Africa, like in all of this ecological
Yeah.
work and so on. But what's very interesting in what you said is as well being an oasis, like a moving oasis, and our own spaces. In the Western world, you have the living room, you have the bedroom, you have the kitchen, you have to go to, you have a health center, you have, but what you are bringing is also this aspect of there is no linearity, there are no walls in my way of being. I don't need to work as a healer from 8 to 7 or from is what we are is becoming the oasis and is disturbing this kind of linearity on walls that are existing. So the living room, that's again back to the, like
The living room theory.
exactly the
Write a
living room.
book, The Living Room Theory.
Yes, exactly. I think we have to learn to make spaces ours, ephemera oasis circles, in places. Even when there were women that gathered in Germany, I think the 8th of March, wearing all white. In specific places where things happened, like really bad things happened. So this kind of ephemera, oasis ephemera, moving somewhere would be very
Yeah.
interesting idea to
Yeah,
implement.
because, I think at the very basis of it, all people in the world, even Palestinians and Israeli, even people who are at like, at the death toll with one another right now, a lot of people just want to live in peace. They don't care about borders. They just want to find ways. I think it's coming really, it's like, because that always bothers me. Like our consciousness has changed so much. We evolved so much. If I think like, what other times would you want to live in, Kasia? No, maybe I would check out the old European matriarchal societies, but just because we know nothing about it, I would like to live in it. But there is no other times. Like I don't want to live in time when I walk through forest and I get raped every 5 steps, or like these are the times. I don't want to live in 39. I don't want to live in 50s. These are my times. That's when I live, and I think we can make them better. But like the war is so tied to the economic system, to this to the whole, like and I think as soon as we shift from the banks, that kind of centralized power, to decentralized power, go Bitcoin, people, like get your get your like independence in some way. Maybe it will won't will work, maybe it won't, who knows, but at least it's something that we can look into. I don't think it's going to change because it's just a repetition of the same, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, like it's the same power structure, it's just not moving anywhere. But
Yeah.
these times, astrologically, it seems like it's moving. I don't know if it's moving now towards China and back to socialism, communism. I'm not sure because Saturn, Neptune have that affinity with social movements. But socialism on paper is not bad, by the
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
Communism
Yeah,
is pretty shit, but socialism is pretty
yeah,
interesting system.
very interesting. I think we will have maybe 10 views of this video with all the topics we brought, but
It's okay. The right people will find us.
it's so interesting. But one thing I would finish, and I will finish with this because I really
Yes,
need to go
yes.
after that. But if we don't know our mission, I believe that for me, if we don't know our mission, why we came here, we will be lost because we are waiting on other factors to define what we are and what we exist for. I think for me, it's not the path that works. For me, what works is really I came here for specific things. My goal is to connect and know these things, what they
Mhm.
are, and do them. That's it. I cannot change the whole world. Maybe I can in different ways. I don't know, but I do what I have to do. It's like getting that,
Mm.
let's add another word, soldier mentality, kind of
Yeah.
warrior side inside, like focus on what you have to do. That's it. Don't
And
don't
I
do.
think that's was you were saying it in that video that like I watched when I was doubting my own kind of,
Mhm,
because if this is your only living as well, it's quite tight into, paying
mhm,
bills and doing this whole thing, right? So like I had these moments of like, oh my God, like do I want to do that? Should I go and look for jobs?
mhm,
These moments. I think we all have these moments at times, but
mhm.
um, like your video was just, I think you were just sharing this similar sentiment. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it is. That's refocusing, not letting your mind go into all these stories that's so easy. Like,
Mhm.
it's like it's everything is prepared for those thoughts. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, land here, easy.
yeah,
Every like, yes, yes, perfect. You exactly right. But when you start thinking the other way, it's also quite
yeah. Stay
recentering.
focused.
So yeah,
Stay
it's
focused.
really
And if
important.
one day the what your soul will tell you, if you need to go work somewhere, you will go to work somewhere, but it comes from the soul, not from fear. We
Yes,
have to be
exactly.
ready to lose. We have to be ready to lose. That's really when we get ready to lose, fear goes. And
Exactly. And that's the point being to this spiritual awakening I had. I was doing regular jobs. I was working with children. I was doing, cleaning toilets and doing fucking regular stuff. Nothing spectacular. I wasn't a reader and I wasn't an astrologer. I was just like person working at Starbucks because I couldn't even speak English well, So that exactly, it does not matter, and you can be the oasis anywhere you are. You can be an oasis in the midst of biggest corporation of the world. Like it's yeah, it's probably just knowing and reconnecting with that purpose, because then nothing will spoil your energy. You will add to, like,
yeah,
you will ripple out of you, not like you won't get buried in this
exactly.
like noise. Yeah.
Yeah, and living experiences, like if you share with other people who are in the path of the priestess of the roses or other, that's why I love the old people as well, elder than
Same.
me. I learn from them. You see, like their path. Some are working as nurses, some are working as teachers. They don't leave their job to be something else. They stay in there, but they become themselves even a bit more, and they change things from within.
Yeah.
Everyone has a mission. It's just learn what is yours. That's it.
Yeah. That's perfect ending to the chat.
It was fun.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
joining. I think we should catch up at some point again. Maybe have a subject that we can pull cards for. I don't know, just like play with something. If you feel like open to it, we'll be in touch anyway. But yeah, I'm awaiting your decks. I'm curious about the roses too. So I will be checking your writing on flowers as well on your Substack. And thank you so much for
Thank you for inviting
just
me.
sharing, you know,
Thank you so
despite
much. It
all
was
the
so much
other.
fun. So I will
Thank
stay a bit after the video and will tell our auditors thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
okay. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys. Sorry, I'm just going to go